everybody. Thank you for tuning in once again. If you would be so kind to go ahead and click that like, share, subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. So this week, the book I am going to review is called Something Good by Vanessa Miller, and this is the cover of the book. I thought the cover of the book was so cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. This book has three main women participants that drive the story. One woman is named Alexis, who is married to an affluent man that affords her a relaxed lifestyle. Alexis has two children, and when she is not taking care of her family, she helps the less fortunate find jobs and other resources to better their circumstances. How noble. Alexis is having problems with her husband and finds out he has kept a vital piece of information from her that is crucial to their livelihood. Alexis begins to look at her husband in a different light and reevaluates her own life and what she intends to do with the rest of it. There is Trish, a middle-class, God-fearing woman with a husband and son, an adult son. Trish is having issues with her husband as well. Trish has seen a different side of the man that she loves and is not happy with it. I mean, it's almost deplorable even. Trish's husband has not handled their twist in life in the best way, and she is at her wit's end and contemplating walking away from her marriage. And then there's Marquita, young, poor, and a mother of an infant son that comes from a family that is less than stable. Marquita has quite the attitude and keeps losing her jobs. She doesn't have the education or proper social skills to do better at this point. However, she doesn't want to end up like her mother, being evicted repeatedly and living in shelters. Marquita desires to provide a stable home and better life for her son. Marquita must take direction from wise counsel and has to set her pride aside and do what is best for her son. All these ladies have a link to one man, John. John was headed for greatness on the football field and had a college scholarship. He was going to be the man. His future was bright until one day he was hit by a distracted driver that left him physically injured and unable to proceed with his life's plan. His life fell apart, and he was having a hard time finding the will to live. John got an unexpected visitor, and his life changed again. I will let you find out how these ladies are connected to John and how they impacted each other's lives. You will have to read the book to see if these marriages survived the trials that they faced. You will have to see how John's life was flipped upside down and if he was able to come out on the other side a better man or not. This book has drama and heart. This book is about love, faith, understanding, and forgiveness. I mean, I absolutely loved it. This would have been an awesome curl up weekend read. I could definitely see this book being turned into a movie. I had some characters in my head rolling around like, they probably would play a good character. for the movie version. If the movie stayed true to the storyline, which we know sometimes it doesn't, but it's always nice when it does. I hope you come away with a sense of encouragement and reflection. For those religious groups out there, this is a good book for consumption. I didn't have any real warnings to give. It was pretty PG-13 for the most part. It is said that the author is known for redemption stories. I would agree this would be classified as a redemption, inspiration, or rely on faith story. The strength, determination of the characters and how they responded to things would support this. I did look the author up to see what, if any, other prior work rung a bell, and she has quite the selection. With that being said, it appears that this author is indeed new to me, and from the looks of the titles, it would seem they further support the classification of her work. So check her out for other publications that may pique your interest. I did see a few on the list that I was like, I might check that out. So I hope you find something on her list of works that you would like to read along with this particular book. There are some discussion questions included, which is always a plus. Some topics that I would think would be good for discussion is obviously the distracted drivers piece and how their actions impact not only them but others. I know there's like a Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I don't know if they've started a distracted drivers group or not, but in this day and age, I think it's pretty relevant, especially with the cell phones. And honestly, you see people making their videos in their car. I've seen some that apparently are driving while they're doing their video in the car. So there is a high rate of distracted driving in this day and age. After reading this book, I have actually caught myself being distracted while driving. So I've had to slap my own wrist about that and say, hey, whatever is on that phone can wait until you get to wherever you're going. If it's an emergency, there's nothing really you could do about it until you get to a stopping point anyway. So it is very hard nowadays to not be distracted while driving, and I think we all probably need to do a better job of putting the cell phones down. There is also the topic of mental health when undiagnosed and how it affects the person and those around them. The topic of respectful conflict resolution. Is there honesty among those climbing the economic come-up race? I watched a movie recently, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was about a man that had went to some conference and collaborated with another attendee, and one of the guys died, okay, and the other went on to get the patent and then found the deceased man's family to give them half of the proceeds from that collaboration that resulted in the patent for this device. So would you do that, or say, well, the person's dead, so it's all mine, I don't have to share with his family or whoever, it's all mine? What's your take on that? Do you believe in signs from the afterlife, if you believe there is one, like the cardinal in this book? I have heard that. a lot where a red cardinal is a sign of a deceased loved one's presence or looking over you. Obviously, I don't know, but it is a nice thought. I don't know why this specific bird is attached to that thought. I'm sure there's a reason. I didn't try to go find out what that reason is. I've heard of that. And so it wasn't something I didn't know when reading this book, but I have heard of that. The topic of young parenthood and its hardships. I personally know all about that. And unfortunately or fortunately, just depending on how you look at it, a lot of people are having children at a young age. Some younger than others. To each their own situation. But there are some definite hardships to having children at a younger age, just as there are hardships having children at an older age. The topic of faith and the power of prayer, that would be a good church group question. I think this book could be a tool used in a church group for sure. These are just a few to go along with the discussion questions provided in the book. I like that the book did provide discussion questions because sometimes it helps the reader know what the author wanted them to get out of it, or a little bit of thought to the perspective that the author was having and the direction that they kind of wanted people to navigate towards. So I definitely love discussing questions at the end of the book. I did listen to the audiobook version and the narrator kept me engaged. I know you wonder why I listened to the audiobook and I have the physical copy of the book. As I have said before, it just helps me get through the books a little bit quicker. I was wondering though if they had like awards for narrators like they do actors and actresses and all that. Like in the literary world, is there like an award ceremony? I don't know. I've never specifically heard of one. I'm pretty sure there probably is one, but I don't know. That thought just popped into my head because I'm like, some of these narrators should have a little bit more accolades thrown their way. But I do believe I would have liked the book just as much if I had read the hard copy. So I was pleased with the pace and the vibrancy of the narrator. The only thing that I would have liked to know is how Marquita's mother, Gloria, met her daughter, Kiki's father, and what that relationship was like. I was like, what happened there? I think it would have added another juicy layer. I want to know what happens next in the lives of these characters. So I hope that the author will consider another book that involves these characters. I mean, the book didn't leave off with a cliffhanger, but I hope there's a sequel coming. But if not, I am still satisfied with the story. It did give me a good, complete story that I enjoyed. So I did give this a 9.5 out of 10. So if you've read the book, comment your thoughts. If you haven't read the book, pick it up. I do suggest it is a nice read. It has a little bit of drama. It has some love. It has some faith. It has some forgiveness. So if you would be so kind to subscribe, click like, share. As I said, if you've read the book, tell me your thoughts. Until next time, keep turning the pages, my book lover.